Hello and welcome. I'm Andy Jones, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dimash Kudaibergen's performance of SOS d'Untarian en Détresse at the I Am Singer show, which took place in China. And what I want to say about this particular song is that it was the first one that I ever heard performed by Dimash, the first video I saw of him, and it's the one that kind of knocked me off my chair and induced me to forward it instantly to a bunch of my musician friends saying, here's the goal. And of course, it's an impossible goal to have because there's very few people in the world who have that kind of vocal range that Dimash has. And yeah, it's an impossible aim to set to be able to sing that way. But yeah, just an astounding performance that I'm really looking forward to taking a look at with you. And this is my second Dimash review. My first one just a few days ago was the Adagio video that's on my channel already. And after that, there were a bunch of new followers on the channel and a lot of dears that have commented on the video. So thank you for that and welcome to my channel. Lovely to have you joining me. And I really appreciated all the insights that were put into the comments about Dimash in general and his career. There have been lots of suggestions for new videos to look at, and I'm going to be happy to do that in the future. Of course, what I mentioned last time is that I'm going to be setting up a live stream very soon. Now that I've passed the 1,000 subscribers mark, I'm just waiting for YouTube to set up my community features, because then we can look together into finding a time that works for all the different time zones connected with my account so that I can set up a live stream and do some spontaneous reactions there. And of course, if there's enough dears in the room, then some of that could also involve Dimash's performances and perhaps even some songs by him that he's written himself that I haven't heard yet. So I'd really like to do that. So just watch this space and hopefully very soon I can set up a live stream and we'll make that happen. Okay, but for the moment, let's go to China and watch Dimash singing at I Am Singer. He was, of course, invited there to participate as a foreign contender and took second place. And, you know, hugely impressive. Very young vocalist at the time. I think he was just 21 or 22. And he wasn't known at all in China. So for someone completely unknown to just arrive there and take second place in this competition really means that he won that audience over, right? And that he was popular enough to do so well in a different country. So another reason that we should appreciate, you know, Dimash's ability to connect with a global audience, because now he has been touring, he's been, you know, traveling across the world and playing shows. So yeah, he's a real trailblazer, I would say. So I'm looking forward to checking this out with you. Let's jump over and watch Dimash performing SOS. Let's do this. Were they his parents? Just these two? Are they his parents? I guess. I've seen in the comments, I know that the mother of Dimash is also like an opera singer, and I read in the comments somewhere that the father is also a singer, and I wonder, are they the parents? I think so. Just looking at them, I think so.
我觉得好帅哦，上镜。我觉得有点像林志炫啊。
Je ris, pourquoi je pleure. Voici le SOS d'Untarian en détresse.
Something that's really worth mentioning here, I just saw as we were going into this chorus here, Dimash took out his earpiece. He's got what we call in-ear monitors in his ears. And these are fantastic. I use them on stage as well, not here in the studio, but on stage, because they mean that you can stand wherever you want and you can still hear everything. because traditionally, if you use these monitor speakers that are on the stage, you've got to kind of stand in the right place to hear everything that's going on. Whereas with these in-ear monitors, they are radio activated, so you can stand anywhere on the stage, you can run into the middle of the audience and you can still hear everything perfectly. So he's taken one of those out, and what that usually means is you want to keep the mix on one ear so you can really hear everything still, but on the other ear you can still hear the audience, what's going on there, their reaction to you. So yeah, lovely. Very, very good piece of equipment to have if you're a vocalist and you're playing live shows. Definitely. Shout out, by the way, to the people who make my in-ears, Cosmic Ears. Lovely company in the UK, and I've been proud to use them for a number of years now. So if you're looking to get into in-ears, I do recommend checking out the fantastic Cosmic Ears. Now, Dimash, right now we've got a very kind of understated verse. It's very calm still, but you notice the emotion. He's singing, pourquoi je vis, pourquoi je meurs, pourquoi je ris, pourquoi je pleure, which is French for why do I live, why do I die, why do I laugh, why do I cry? So, it's emotional stuff. It's emotional questions that he's asking himself in those lyrics, and he's definitely showing that he can connect emotionally with them. Great, let's carry on.
D'un rien en détresse, j'ai mûri, fier sur toi.
Okay, we're going to talk about that now. That chorus, wow. To start with, what he's kind of doing is he's showing us this whole vocal range. And he's going from low notes up to a very high falsetto register, all in the space of just 2 or 3 lines. The first line is almost like an arpeggio, starting with his lower range and moving up 2 octaves in the space of those lines. And he ends with this kind of operatic curbing. So you can tell that he's got a lot of different genres that he's comfortable in. So he sings some of his notes in a more pop style, in a more neutral register, and others in this more kind of operatic style, which I really like. It's a great mix, and perhaps shows a little bit of the opera influence in the family through his mother, right? So fantastic. And then he goes into those falsetto lines, and he's basically singing something along the lines of, I wish or I prefer I could be a bird, seeing the world upside down, that kind of thing, or from not upside down, from up high, from above, that kind of thing. So he wishes he could have like a bird's eye view of the world, and which is interesting because he takes it up to the falsetto to sing that. So he's moving his voice high up as he's singing about being high up. And I know that he didn't write the lyrics to this song, but it fits in beautifully. Yeah, okay. And that final note at the end, of course, is the first one when I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago, where I just kind of, turned my head and went, whoa, hello. Because it's very reminiscent of the kind of vocal techniques that people like, I don't know, Ian Gillan used to use in the late 1960s, early 70s, before I was born. But I grew up listening to bands like Deep Purple and, Child in Time, that kind of thing. So Dimash is one of the few vocalists that attains that vocal range. And I would argue perhaps he has even more strength in his voice when he's hitting those high notes than Gillan did back then. So, yeah, astonishing. Okay, let's carry on. Can we just really appreciate those 2 facial expressions for a moment? I love the way that the guy on the left just looks absolutely confused. I guess these two are also contestants in the show, right? Because they go backstage and they show the reactions. I saw this in Adagio as well, that they showed the reactions of the contestants in the back. And I guess these two are also contestants. You know, this guy on the right's got earpieces as well, hanging down. So I assume they're both involved in the show in one of the other acts or two of the other acts, that they're contestants as well. And yeah, they look just genuinely astonished. But I particularly appreciate the confusion on the guy on the left's face. Just while we're stopping, I want to mention that I really enjoyed the piano in the first verse and the chorus as well. Really nicely placed. Right, sorry to have paused so quickly again, but that I couldn't miss out on that one.
Je suis toujours fou d'une vie avec les conditionnés. Je crois dans un vie, tu es à ma force. Je sens quelque chose qui m'attire, voilà.
Wow, yeah. You know, you think he's hit that big note already, and then that one comes. There's a few things that I really liked about that verse. Firstly, you've got those electronic beats behind it, and what I particularly appreciate about that is that it kind of draws the song into the current musical age. That you've got these electronic kind of beats that fit in with contemporary music today, which is very electronically driven a lot of the time. So adding that to this piano arrangement is a really clever step, actually, because it just makes it current. And I mentioned in my Adagio video that this often means using a click track, and that the drama plays to it, and that helps everybody to kind of find their timing. And in the comments, one person really objected to that and thought I was criticizing the use of backing tracks. Just to set the record straight there, I'm not criticizing backing tracks. I use them too in a lot of my songs. So it just adds another layer to the performance. And it's a layer that, you know, you don't always have that many musicians on the stage that they can produce electronic beats standing on there. So it's perfectly legitimate to do that. So yeah, exactly. That's what I would say about that. And vocally, again, you know, like I say, that huge note, fantastic there. And what I also quite like is the way that the lyrics build themselves up. This qui m'attire, this build up. You're going up a note in each time you repeat the phrase. And that just kind of means which draws me or which attracts me, something like that. So he's emphasizing those lyrics as well. Great.
Qui m'attire, voilà. Au retour de l'univers.
Again, you know, twice we've had that moment where we thought we've had the big note, and then that comes. And I think pretty much everybody who listens or watches this clip for the first time is those two people right there. You know, we always kind of, I think that's just us when we see it. You know, they're completely astonished, and so are we when we first see Dimash sing, right? And yeah, I mean, what I want to say about the part that we've just heard, I really appreciate the fact that room has been made for the strings there. You know, it was piano driven at the beginning, then it was these beats that drove the song, and now the piano's still there, it's pulled back into the background, and those strings are there, really complementing what's being sung, because initially he's singing very low and those strings are very high, so the space in the mix for both of them. And it's also kind of between the lines that he's singing, so there's kind of space even when he's in his higher register. What I'd also like to do is just go back a few clips and take a look at one thing that he does strategically differently in other clips of this song to here. So let me just go back and find that. So you see there's quite a long gap there, and in later versions of this song he's added more falsetto notes there and some really good vocal bends. Now I thought about doing that version as well, but I really wanted to kind of just take the first version of this that I ever saw, the one that really got me into listening to Dimash sing. So I mean, there is room later on for me to look at other versions of this song as well, maybe in one of my live streams later. So I've not given up hope on doing that as well, but just to let you know that there are other versions of that particular part of the song that might be interesting too. Okay, let's carry on. And we're back here. Now that note that, or those notes that he just sang, what's really interesting there, he firstly hits a big note that really surprised us earlier on, and then he's taken that note, jumped up an octave, and then added a couple more notes in between, going up even further, 2 steps further. And so, you know, he surprised us more than once just in those couple of seconds, because first we have the big note, great, then we have an octave higher, and then we have 2 steps even higher than that. So, I mean, there's very few people that can sing that high. Just very few at all. You know, I mentioned Ian Gillan before, and maybe someone like Steve Balsamo that I've also reviewed on this channel, but there's really not many that can hit those notes and actually hold them. So it's, you know, it's almost kind of history being made with this. Okay, let's carry on now.
Je vise, pourquoi je meurs, pourquoi je ris, pourquoi je pleure. J'y crois comme près des autres, qualité notre monde.
We've got to go back and take that step by step because so much happened there. So I'm going to wind us back a little bit, well, quite a bit further actually, and just find the place that we stopped at. Here it is. So let's just go step by step here. So there we have that really quiet verse where it's just him and the piano pretty much, and a bit of strings as well. And very quickly it jumps up a little step in intensity where the drums come in, a bit of guitar, and then it goes quiet again here. So this is something that we're playing with called dynamics, whether it's loud or quiet. And that part, you know, we've had that big note and then we've got that really quiet verse, so really quiet dynamics. And then we've taken a step up to being actually, you know, middle I'd say. And then we have those drum fills that are taking us into a much louder final chorus. So let's go there.
Vérité, notre monde. Changer nos vies, qu'elles souffrent. Si je me sens dernièrement, le mauvais
Okay, we've got to stop there because there's so much that's just happened in that tiny part of the song already that I'll forget it otherwise. So what we have is the chorus where he's started it pretty much the same way as before, but just with greater intensity. And then we have the part that he was singing in his falsetto register before as well. Now he's not just singing in his falsetto, he's doing what we call like a mixed voice, because he needs the strength of his chest voice to add to the falsetto that's coming from his head voice. And he's putting those together into this mix because he's now really belting it. And you can't belt notes that high without going into that mixed voice, really. So he's singing the same notes, but with a much greater intensity. And then he goes into the next line where what he then does is actually quite simple in terms of the structure, but really hard in terms of his, the vocal range that he's showing. So what he does, he goes basically up a sliding scale of notes, and that's not complicated. When you learn like to play the piano for the first time, one of the first things you learn is scales, and that's the same when you start learning to sing. And that's what he's doing. He's singing a scale basically. So he's going up a note each time, but they're so high, these notes, that it really is a challenge to do that. I mean, I can't do it at that kind of pitch, and most vocalists can't either. So he's doing something really complicated in that sense, something that most vocalists can't do. But structurally, it's quite simple. Then he comes with that massive high note, and then he does a run from that high note down even further, a number of notes in a very short space of time. And again, at that pitch, to have that level of accuracy, to go from right up there, down really fast, then almost like you're running downstairs. Yeah, just astonishing. Okay, and then... And I'm highlighting that moment because, again, this is the only version of SOS that I've heard him sing where he sings that line like that, with that kind of operatic end to it. And I love it. I really like that operatic end. And in later versions, he stopped doing that. He's kind of kept it more poppy and done a couple of runs, which is also great. It's just a more poppy style, and this is a more operatic style. And since the operatic style is not used quite as much in this song, I really like it when he does that here. But like I said, we can check out another version in a stream sometime, and I'll talk about how he does the other version as well. So those are the two instances that I noticed in this song where he does things a little bit differently from time to time. And then we come to the final line. What I like there is he's gathering himself for that last line, and he just gives that little smile, and it's almost like he's kind of saying with that smile, hey, I did it. It's gone well for me. This has worked, yay, which is brilliant, just a really nice little human moment there. A lovely final line there. Quite high notes still, but gently sung. And, it's sad that there's that little kind of glitch in the technology there. That is, by the way, in the actual video. I couldn't find another video that didn't have that, so couldn't get around it. But that lovely last word as well, what he's singing there is dodo l'enfant do, which means, time to sleep, little one, something like that. And that last do is like also sleep. And he starts it so gently, and then he just adds some vibrato to it at the very end. So he's adding his own vibrato to his voice. And yeah, lovely little end to that. And the piano underneath it as well. So And what I also like, by the way, you know, I mentioned the click track and how that's useful sometimes. I'm not sure whether it's a click track here at the end or whether it's just really good body language communication between him and the pianist. And I'll wind you back so you can see it in a second. When he sings the last do, he's got his arm in the air, and as he brings it down, he and the pianist sing and play that last word together. And it could be that there's a click track so that they both know when exactly the moment is. And again, I'm not, you know, criticizing click tracks at all. They're great. That's a very useful function that they have. Or the alternative is that he's just, you know, the pianist is watching his arm very intently for the moment that he's bringing the arm down so that the pianist can join in with the final notes. So just check that out. Watch here. So it's either really good communication or it's a click track. Either way, you know, brilliantly executed. So, yeah, lots of insights there that I've given you on the song. I hope I haven't kind of excessively paused, but you know, if you came just to listen to the music, then the music's always the best bet for that. If you're looking for information on, you know, how the song is structured, then that's, I guess, what these reviews are for. So I hope it was useful to you. I hope you've picked out some information that maybe you didn't know before, and that I've been able to add something to your knowledge of the song. So that was SOS, performed by Dimash. And I've been really looking forward to taking a look at this video, so I'm glad I've done that now. And I'm going to really look forward to seeing what you think about it and what comments you leave for me. And of course, if you have other suggestions for songs for me to look at, please do add them. I really appreciated all of the comments last time with ideas for songs for me to look at, so don't be shy, stick some ideas down there. And of course, please do remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell for notifications, because then the next time I have a premiere of a new video, whether it's Dimash or anybody else, you'll see that coming and you can join me straight away in the live chat and we can talk to each other there. If you've got any questions that you don't want to ask publicly, you can, of course, connect with me on my social media channels there. Facebook and Instagram have the ability for you to send me messages, and I can answer you directly there if you have anything you'd like to ask. And, of course, I would just like to end with a final request to you. I saw a few comments to the Adagio video and also to some of my other videos from fans of various singers getting into quite heated debates about who was better. Now, I'm of the belief that we can all have our favorite vocalists, that there isn't an objective truth as to who is the best, but rather we all have our views, and that's great. And I would like for us to be not just kind of good ambassadors for our favorite artists by talking about their ability, but also to be good ambassadors for these artists by the way that we communicate with each other. So let us please keep a respectful, friendly tone in our comments and not get into huge aggressive arguments. I've not seen many of those, but I have seen a couple. So I would ask you please to just let me know if there's any problems with any comments that I need to remove because of that. And finally, you know, if there's anything that you think I've not got right here, then please do tell me, but please do tell me kindly. I'm a human being as well. So I would like us to also have a kind, respectful relationship with each other. I really appreciate constructive feedback, and I'm happy to try and improve wherever I can. So if you want to help me do that, that's wonderful. And I had some requests for subtitles. If you feel able to put subtitles on any of the videos, then you're very welcome to do that. I'm doing this in my spare time, you know, alongside my day job and my own music and my 3 lovely little children. I'm doing what I can, and if someone else feels able to contribute to that as well, then please go ahead. And I will welcome any efforts to make these videos more understandable to an audience that doesn't speak so much English. That would be wonderful. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, please do connect with me and do let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.